Hello everyone, my name is Gretchen. I am back and I'm hoping to do these videos just a little differently because my other videos are boring and I think they're boring, so I know you think they're boring. So I'm going to try to do a little better. I'm going to try to put these in more of my teaching concept. Might get a little wild, may not. Alright, so I want to put in here what I consider is important. You know, the important concepts you need to know. Everybody will have their own opinion on all that, and that's fine. But this is what I feel is important, and this is what I have based my growth on. So this is from my experience. So keep in mind, every topic I hit on, I'll explain and I'll connect it to other concepts in later videos. So little bits and pieces about thoughts, subconscious, and conscious minds is what we're going to talk about now. Your thoughts, as I said, is the first step to finding your power and discovering who you are. But what are thoughts? I have no clue, and I don't think anyone else does. But we have them. They're everywhere. They're outside of us. They're inside of us. They come from who knows where. Our collective consciousness is one place they come from. They come from the people we hang with. You know, they come from inside of us. So they come from all different directions. So I'm not really sure how to explain it, but I'll give you enough to make you consider several things. And I'm sure you've heard the following. Thoughts are things. Thinking is everything. We become what we think. You are what you think, or better yet, you are not your thoughts. You know, they're all pretty self-explanatory. So let's first start talking a little bit about our subconscious mind. The thoughts in our subconscious mind are many, 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 many times more powerful than our conscious mind. It is always alert. It's always awake and controls 90% or more of our lives. Our brain, you have to look at it like a massive computer. It has millions and billions of thoughts at one time. Scientists think that we use 10% of our brain, and we do in our conscious reality, but there's that 90% in our subconscious that actually we use too. Now, I don't know if they've gotten that far with their studies or not, but that's something you might investigate. The subconscious mind has no verbal language, meaning it does not understand words. I've seen a meme online that said, do this rote statement and you can access your subconscious mind, you can do this healing and you can do that. That is a hard way to do anything because the subconscious mind has no verbal language. The only way that will be effective is if you add feeling or emotion to it, and then you can do that. So be very careful with what you read online. Not all of it is necessarily true. Keep in mind the subconscious mind, there's no logic to this mind. No logic to this mind. It is a very cold domain, and it is very literal. But we need to warm that domain up with our thoughts, from our thoughts, by using our heart, and we can warm it all up. So our conscious mind, this is where we live in this reality, is our logical and intelligent mind. And this is the mind we think we use the most in our work, and this is the mind we use the most in our waking world. But they do come from all different directions, our thoughts. Remember, I said they're outside of ourselves and are present 24/7. With this in mind, we have thoughts that really are not our thoughts. Your thoughts take on thoughts of other people, behaviors, motivations, etc., from those we choose to hang with or be with and more. And remember the collective consciousness theory? So these thoughts come from other sources too. So you have to keep that in mind. They influence you in ways you are unaware of. And I'm sure that you have said things like, I don't know why I did that, or said that. That was not me. That is one example of being influenced by thoughts that are not yours. When you heal and raise in vibration, you will learn to recognize what is yours and what is not yours. So let's talk some more about the subconscious again. Reprogramming the subconscious mind can take years. Remember, it is the literal mind. There is one old saying that comes in, careful what you ask for, and the other, be very specific what you want. Okay, want is a type of emotion, so that can manifest. But when you take that repetitive thought, any repetitive thought, and couple it with emotion, you can manifest that into reality, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. This Every cell in your body will try to manifest it for you. This is one thing I repeat over and over and over again to my students, and I will explain how this works later on. A habitual, repetitive thought creates a wave or a ripple in your energy field to manifest what you're going for. To actually manifest your thoughts into reality. Keep that in mind. So once it starts, especially if it's negative, it starts dumping this energy into your energy field. And eventually your chakras pick it up, and then your cells, and everything starts working to manifest that for you, whether it be a good life or a bad life. It's up to you. It affects everything that is connected to you. When you learn to heal and achieve a higher vibration and wisdom, everything will begin to fall into place. All right, let's move on. Thoughts are things and they decide our lives. Of course, we know that. If this is the case, why wouldn't we want to be aware of them? If they decide our lives, why wouldn't we want to know more about them? Why wouldn't we want to try to control them? So some of the things we tend to do that prevents us from looking at our thoughts are things like, and this is usually connected to ego, living in the past. A lot of people live in the past. When you live in the past and you can't get out of it, that's healing. Find someone who can heal. Get rid of that dumping of toxic energies out of your energy field. You overwrite all of that, and it stops that toxic flow, and you can move on. There are people out there that can do that. I'm one of them. And that way you're not controlled by the trauma anymore, or the emotion, the negative emotion. You are able to live. You can visit there. Just don't live there. When you're living there, you have something that you need to let go of. All right, so let's move on. What prevents us from looking at our thoughts? Having negative thoughts, of course. That's usually connected to a trauma of some kind, an emotional trauma. Thoughts that run away? Overthinking is huge today. So many people overthink. I have one in my class now that just overthinks constantly. She is getting better, though, I will give you that. But, you know, all the work has to be on you. I can give this all to you, but I can't make you drink it. You have to do your part. So from your thoughts, you become what you think. And thinking negative thoughts will manifest a negative life for you, and vice versa. I'm sure you've heard that many, many times, but people continue to do it because they don't know how not to do it. That was something to say. Here's where I want to interject that any and all thoughts can be a restriction in your energy field when you are trying to grow spiritually. But how do you get control of what is going on in your thoughts? There are techniques you can use. You can actually use healing techniques to help override these fears and these traumas and these emotions, the negative emotions that you carry around, and even from other people. When we get to energy, I'm going to explain how other people affect you. I'll give you a demonstration online if I have someone here to demonstrate too, to show you how rumor, gossiping, and people who talk bad about you affect you. And they can block you from growing spiritually. This is why it's important to distance yourself from that many people, from those types of people. All right. So the techniques you can use are a candle exercise. It's 10 minutes a day. You focus your mind on the candle and only think about the candle. And when other thoughts come up, you kind of wipe them away. That's a very simple way of putting it. There's a little more to it. But these thoughts that keep coming up, if there's too many, it becomes a waste of your time and energy, which could be used elsewhere into manifesting what you really want. But these prevent you from moving forward. So some of the things you can learn to do is stay in the now. How do you do that? When you stay in the now, you become more aware. To stay in the now, you need to incorporate all your senses into what you're doing in the present. You don't, if you see yourself slipping back to the past, come forward. If you're doing dishes, feel the water, the temperature, feel the dishes that you're washing. Smell the soap, smell the scents around you. That keeps you in the now or in the present. I don't know if you do dishes or not, but you can do it with anything. So start watching your thoughts. That's the best way. Stop living in the past or living in the future and trying to stay more present. I'm not saying you can't go to the past or you can't go to the future. I'm saying People want to live there. Don't live there. Visit it, come back. Thoughts characterize and defines who you are or who you're trying to present to the world. Okay, there's a lot of people who are presenting themselves that are not truly themselves. They're fake. We don't want to be fake. That's a deception. And it holds you back spiritually. So when you reach a higher level of thinking, as those who have awakened, your mind calms down and you have no thoughts or hardly any thoughts at all. I've reached this level and it makes a huge difference in your life. Trust me. I can do so many. I used to be a multitasker. And now I'm like, nope, don't ask me to multitask. I'm a focused one person task person now. And it keeps your thoughts streamlined. And it keeps you in the now. So when you reach this level, like I said, it's shocking at what a difference it can make in your life. People who overthink and those who have their minds run away with them are actually lost in darkness. They are constantly seeking and never finding themselves is who they're seeking, actually. They're trying to understand their reality and why they're here. You know, they have so many questions and yet they end up in a state of confusion. They can't find themselves. So be very compassionate toward them. This is such an unproductive way to live, and this prevents you from manifesting what you want. It's almost impossible for these types of people to find their way and get a direction. They need this information. And this is why I'm putting it out there, to help you find your way. For those who have slowed thoughts or no thoughts at all, where I'm at in my growth, people that have this, and they understand this, you will progress rapidly. Learning to recognize your thoughts actually allows you to get a grip on them. This is very important to understand. It is so we can access the subconscious mind. It's so we can access the subconscious mind. Now see, you thought I was leading you elsewhere, but you need to do this in order to get full access of the subconscious mind. And you have to do other things to get there too, but this is your first step. And I will tell you the rest of it as we go. So your goal is to achieve as few thoughts as possible. So the subconscious mind contains everything that you need. It holds all the possibilities of existence there. It's true freedom and a whole lot more. So a mind that is full of thoughts and concepts and thought forms is not very powerful at all. You want to be at full power. When you learn to focus on a single thought, that is where the power comes in. But if you're scattered, you're scattering your power. So too many thoughts, our speech even, our communication, creates a weak mind unless it's controlled. I'm sure this is why monks and other groups do this spiritual practice called the Vows of Silence. I'm sure you've heard of it. They use meditation and other techniques, and that's the reason for this. Thought energy is the most powerful energy you can have. But keep in mind that too many thoughts is a weak mind. You won't be able to access or use the power of your subconscious fully until you can control the mind. The act of observing your thoughts can shape your consciousness. Let me repeat that. The act of observing your thoughts can shape your consciousness. Okay, so quantum physics actually explains this as nothing is ever at a state of rest. It is in a constant state of motion. So quantum physics actually, this quantum state that we create when we sit in silence actually strengthens the subconscious mind, but is never at a state of rest. So that means your thoughts are never at a state of rest, but you can slow them down a lot. You can still the mind by not reacting emotionally. You can still the mind by not reacting emotionally. By observing and seeing the thoughts for what they are and not for what you want them to be, and then reacting to them. Emotion is not your friend in some of this, in the majority of this. You want emotion with love and compassion, but the rest of it, you want it with the negatives, you don't want it. It's not your friend. So meditation is one way to still the mind. Sitting in silence will actually still the mind. And you're just watching your mind and not participating with it. Not participating means not using emotion or having an emotional reaction. So with practice you can learn to watch and observe, which will eventually help you to calm your thoughts. There are many practices out there, and you can do research on this to help you achieve this state of mind, because what works for one will not work for another. That's why I have a multitude of different ways of doing things, because of the individuality of people. So what I'm trying to say throughout all of this is the subconscious mind is your strongest mind, not your conscious physical reality mind. Remember, the subconscious mind is not based on any logic. This is your God mind, and this is where spirituality is located, and not religions. Religions are located in your conscious mind, or your physical reality, and they are man-made. We begin to gain that powerful mind when we start to become aware of what we are thinking, staying in the now and observing or rejecting thoughts and actions that are not of benefit to you. And doing that will help you gain a more powerful mind. So stay in the now. Watch your breath. Be in the present. Achieve a universal consciousness. Gratitude. Bring all your senses, especially feelings, into everything you do that is positive. Do one task at a time and use all of your senses as you do your task. Do this with feeling. The candle exercise is great for doing all of this. And now I gave you a little short clip on that. You can try that. Sometimes just focusing on a small part of a whole, like a yard of grass, and focusing on one little blade will help you to access this realm too. Another way to calm yourself is to shallow breathe. Focus on your breath and your awareness will increase. So pay attention to your breath. I say this all the time to people. Breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. We've become very robotic in our current lives, and we are acting and thinking robotically. This means we're stuck in a karmic loop, and this karmic cycle needs to be broken. But when you break cycles, because we have this pattern and this circle that just keeps repeating itself and repeating itself, in order to bring in something new, we have to break this cycle. And when you break that cycle, oh Lord, you'll have chaos. But keep that in mind. That's another lecture. This will be broken in time as we progress. My class is like taking your life and putting it in a shoebox, and me taking it and just turning it upside down and shaking it. This is what these videos will be like. To be honest, it's going to wreak havoc, but that's what you have to do to break what you've created to this point so you can start all over. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. It is rough. And it's a tough path to follow. But the rewards are beyond anything you could ever imagine. But today we're too busy trying to survive that we operate, for the most part, from the left side of our brain, which is where our consciousness is located. But if we decide to start helping one another, we can change the world by learning to operate from the God side of our brains, from the universal side. This is the side of intuition and power. It allows you to step beyond the ordinary and grasp the extraordinary. It exists beyond ourselves. When you enter this domain, you enter the realm of infinite knowledge. This is where intuition comes in. This is where channeling comes in. This is where our access to the other side comes in. And we don't know exactly what the other side is, but I'm going to give you a pretty good idea as we go. So this place has no time nor space. The time that we have now is linear. It was created by man. Ancients of long ago used cycles, like the seasons and the times of days. They didn't have time. And it wasn't linear. It was a repetitive, constant cycle. It was cyclical. So we actually, I'm going to end here pretty soon. We actually need to do more research and the study of thoughts so we can tap into the power of the subconscious mind and more, to gain access to live our lives to the highest and fullest potential, because it is there. You just don't know how to get there. So quantum physics is the area of science that's given us the most knowledge connected to this. But we need more research to be done. Oh well, this gives you a bit of information on putting some of the puzzle together. I will stop here. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help a lot. Or join our Facebook page, To Pathway to Awakening, to ask your questions if you have any. And I would love to have that because, and I think I'm going to turn the comments on. I'm still trying to learn my videos, but I'm going to turn the comments on for questions. If you will have questions, you can put them down below. Or you can just listen to the podcast with people that are writing questions for me and me interviewing people from around here. So I'll end there, and I will see you soon, and many blessings, and bye for now. And I hope this video was better than the others, and I thank you very much for watching. I will catch you soon.